cross we stand.
And let's be claps on our hands.
And let's be claps on our hands.
A product of a native land.
A product of a native land.
When suddenly,
A
voice cries within me.
voice cries within me.
Fuzzy wuzzy.
Fuzzy wuzzy.
You bloody beauty.
You bloody beauty.
Ozzy, Ozzy, Ozzy.
Oi, oi,
Ozzy, Ozzy, Ozzy.
oi. Oi, oi, oi.
Ozzy.
Oi.
Ozzy.
Oi.
Ozzy, Ozzy, Ozzy.
Oi, oi, oi.
So this was the start of day 2. It was Mudman, who's our lead porter, lead guide. He does the chant at the start of every day, and we all had to learn it the night before, and as you could hear, mine was a little bit scratchy because I couldn't quite remember. I mean, this is 6 a.m. This is the start of day 2, so we didn't really know exactly. By day 3, we had it, no worries at all. It was a pretty good campsite as well. I didn't mind it. I slept in a hut. One of the rats actually decided to get into Brian, who was one of the other guys on the trip, got into his bag and started eating some of the lollies out, so he wasn't thrilled, but luckily none of mine were touched. We're starting to make our descent. We walked down for a little bit and then up, but you'll see on the right hand side in a minute that we actually walked past a pipe on the wall. That was our shower the night before, and it was freezing. I couldn't believe just how cold this water coming out of the side of the mountain was. The other cool thing about going down to the showers the night before were glow bugs. I've never ever seen them before in my life. I actually thought they were torches off in the distance, but as we were walking down we could see these little flickers of light flying around. They were really beautiful. So a few of us came down to the shower the night before and it was freezing. We're actually held up a little bit here because it was starting to get a bit slippery. It rained the night before too, and that makes a massive difference on the track. You can have days where there's no rain and everything's fine and you can go up and down as smoothly as you like, but on this trip, and because we're still trying to get our walking legs as well, it made it really slippery. So we're just a little bit cautious. It's actually quite funny watching this footage now and just seeing how cautious we were, because by the end of it we're just taking off. I don't think I fell this day. No, it was day 3, was my first fall, so today was pretty good. That big guy in front is tiny. He was my porter, and he was about 7 foot tall and just a giant. He barely spoke, which was quite funny because I just blah 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 the whole time, and you just couldn't get anything out of him at all. So here we are, going very gingerly down the hill, taking my time. Where's the waterfall? Oh, gee, it's actually further than what I thought. That was a long way from camp. You'd walk up a sweat just walking back there. But it was beautiful. Yeah, the scenery, all the nature, all the wildlife was just spectacular as well. We didn't get much sleep though. That was the only bad thing, that the hut started to move a bit. See, this is the pipe in the wall. If you look to the right, there it is. They're just taking a bit of water out of it now. That's what we showered under. That's how rough and tumble it was. The drop toilets were disgusting as well. I almost vomited the first time I smelled one of those, but the stomach starts to get used to it. And you can slowly start to see that it's going up. And this was a very gentle hill. Compared to everything else, this was easy. This was day 2. We were having a good time here.
What's that?
Okay, so obviously that bit was sped up because it was pretty much the same thing. It was just the forest or the jungle, lots of going up and down. But day two was relatively simple compared to, say, days 3 and 4. Um, it was a lot of fun. I keep thinking back on how much fun we actually had on this. I mean, you can see I'm still talking, I'm still laughing, having a good time, and although those beads of sweat dripping down my face, and you'll see that on future videos because we just turned into a big ball of sweat, it was actually so much fun. We got to camp each night and just forgot how tough some of these walks were because we were laughing too much, or we were telling Chinese whispers, or we were telling jokes, or karaoke. There was one day where I had to walk up to somebody and say, "Right now, Dan, sing me a song," and if he didn't, he'd get fined for it. So lots of fun, and you'll see some future videos where people are falling over, but still just having the best time, best experience I think I've ever had.